because your English is so good. It's so easy to talk to you. Or the fact that you're self-taught is really phenomenal. Like I really respect that so much. Yeah. So for me, like I'm from the United States, so I'm American. But for the last
Okay.
20 years, I have lived in South Korea.
Hi, man. What's up?
Oh, not much, just another Tuesday evening here in South Korea. How about you?
So it is the evening like 8 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's about 8 p.m. in South Korea time. Sure, sure. So,
Hmm.
well, what I do right now is I'm a university
Mhm.
teacher. I teach at a
Okay.
university in South Korea, and I teach kind of
Mhm.
basic English, conversational English, I would say.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but one of my hobbies and passions is podcasting, and so I
Okay.
created with my partner, Sochel. She and
Okay.
I have a podcast called the A to Z English Podcast, and I'll send you a link if you don't mind. You could link to our website, but it's a podcast where that helps students learn English. So it's good for listening, and I'm started putting a transcript on the podcast so students can listen and read along with the podcast. And we talk about a lot of different topics, idioms, language tips. We do conversations, just uh, lots of different topics of podcasts, of a variety of topics. And
Wow.
that's my
Great.
passion. Yeah, I really love doing the podcast. It's
Hmm. Okay, so as you said that you used to do the podcast, so from where you get your partner? Because I saw you on the YouTube and I saw like you have mentioned the podcast. I am the also person who are interested in this all the things. So I thought, why should not I connect with you and we will have some discussion on that. So that is the reason I connected to you. So like,
oh
how do you
yeah.
get the partner and what is the like your mostly topics of the podcast? Because I haven't seen. Definitely after this conversation, I'm gonna watch your all the videos. Okay, so yeah,
Oh
you can
yeah.
tell me.
Well, I'm not really a YouTuber that much. I mean, my YouTube channel
Okay.
is just for posting my podcast, but
Okay.
I'm more comfortable with just audio, not video. So, for me,
Okay.
I'm too old to be on TV. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not very good at being a YouTuber, and I'm much better with like just speaking in front of a microphone, or behind a microphone, pardon me. And yeah, I'm just more comfortable in that situation, and I like making the podcast and editing it and things like that. The YouTube channel was just for fun. But our YouTube
Okay.
channel is called the A to Z English Podcast. That's our
Yeah, yeah,
channel, and we have
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of fun videos on there. I do a lot of just like silly things. So I
yeah.
still make
Okay.
videos, but I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm more of a podcaster. That's what I would consider myself.
Great man.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as like connecting with other people, I love it when people send me emails asking me to have an interview. I always say yes. And because I just feel like I totally understand your situation when you're trying to build your channel and you're trying to build a podcast, and you feel a little bit shy to ask people, but don't be shy. Just ask people. I found people really like to talk about themselves. So, like it's something people enjoy doing. So they'll usually say yes.
Actually, you are right. Which I this thing I have also find out like people love to discuss about themselves.
Yeah.
And that is the reason. And another thing is that I'm not here to grow my channel and all. As you said, for fun, you have created the YouTube channel. Same goes for me. I also for fun just track my improvement. I will show someone that see I have made this much video like just for fun. That's it, nothing else. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love to interact with the people. So that is the reason I had connected to you.
Well, that's great. I think that's exactly the right way, the right attitude to have, because you never know what will happen with your channel. It might grow
Hmm.
really quickly. You might have a
Yeah.
viral video or something that might happen. So I've been doing a lot of interviews with, actually, for I don't know why, but in the last couple weeks, people from India have been reaching out to me. The YouTubers from India and Pakistan have reached out to me and
Okay.
asked me to do an interview. And so somehow
Okay.
they saw my channel or listened to my podcast, and that's really cool. I mean, I really enjoy reaching out and talking to other people and making friends in other countries. It's really cool. I just love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, like, I'm from the United States, so I'm American. But for the last
Okay.
20 years I have lived in South Korea. So when I was
That
in
is
my yeah, so when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Asia to teach English as a foreign language. And
okay.
I just never went back to America. I just stayed in I mean, I went back to visit, but I never went back to live there. I just stayed in
Oh,
Asia for indefinitely. Like, I'm still here. And I got married, I have a daughter, I have a family here in Korea. So this is my permanent home, but it was never my plan to live in Asia. I just fell in love with the continent after having lived there for a
okay.
short time, and I realized I wanted to stay there forever. So, yeah, that's kind of that's a summary of my story right there.
Okay, so how do you teach the students, like through online courses, or you have any institute and you have joined any schools, colleges? Like, what is the source of teaching the students?
Yeah, so we do in classroom instruction. So we're face to face with the students, except we were online during COVID, like most places around the world. Um, but I'm interacting with the students, and my goal is to get the students to talk to each other. So I really want to get them speaking. The in Korea,
Okay,
in Korea, students know the grammar really well. They already learned
okay,
grammar in school. It's all grammar, 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 all day long, all night long,
okay.
and it's too it's it's too much, right? There's no opportunity to speak. And so I'm trying to give the students an opportunity to actually use the language the way we are right now. You and I are having a conversation, we're talking, we're thinking about new ideas, sharing them, and it's a real conversation. And so I'm getting my students kind of to overcome their shyness, because a lot of people, when you're learning a second language, you're shy. You feel shy to speak. You're just like, I'm not sure if
Absolutely.
am I saying the right words? Is my pronunciation okay? Did I understand the question? All these things are going around in your head, and it's easier to just kind of go, I'm not going to talk. I'll just be quiet and listen. But that's not learning a language, right? Learning a language means you're also able to speak and communicate. That's maybe the most important aspect of the language. So without that major component, I feel like the students are kind of missing something. So I try to provide the opportunity for them to talk. And so in our case, most of the students in my classes are Korean. So I make a
Okay,
rule: no Korean in the classroom. You can't speak Korean in here,
okay.
only English. And I don't really care if your grammar is perfect or your pronunciation is perfect. We'll work on that. But I want you to just try. You just have to try. There's no one can say, I'm shy, I'm too shy, I don't want to speak. You can't do that in my classroom. Everybody talks. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really the my basic philosophy, is just to get everybody speaking to each other, through a variety of activities and um, tasks that I created. Games are a great way to get people to talk to each other. Um, yeah, I mean, that's it. It's a fun job. I get to be creative. I get to think of new ideas and how can I
Actually.
make the students talk? Yeah.
Okay, so I just got a question that as you talking about the grammar's rules and all. So what's your opinion that is it really grammar is necessary to speak English or without grammar we can speak English?
I mean, the thing is, everybody needs a grammar, but is what you really need is an internalized grammar, a kind of
Okay.
and what I mean by internalized grammar is that you're not thinking about the grammar. You know the grammar. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It just means that
Yeah.
you're going to avoid those major mistakes, right? You understand that English is an SVO language, right? Subject verb object language.
Right.
Something,
Right.
simple
Right.
kind of simple parameters that you've already internalized in your brain that you don't even have to think about. And that's the grammar that's important. As far as like, I mean, do I use a infinitive or a gerund in this situation? Well, I mean, that's really small, detailed grammar. That stuff is not that important, I don't think, for daily conversation. If you just want to talk to people, the best way to do that is by doing it, and you will start to
Mm,
learn the patterns of grammar by listening to other people who speak English well. If you communicate with other people that can speak English, you'll start to internalize some of the rules, and you'll without even opening a book, you can do that. And that's also grammar. But when we think grammar, we think like course book grammar. And that's a different grammar. That's kind of deep structure, and most native speakers don't know grammar. You know what I mean?
yeah, that is what I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if I went to America and I asked like, you know, 10 people, I'll give you $100 if you can tell me what a gerund is. Maybe one or two
Okay.
people know what it is. Maybe one person might know, and
Okay.
the other nine people would have no idea. Um, I mean, it's just because, but do they know what a gerund is? Absolutely, they do. They just don't know the name of it. They don't know
Mm,
the explicit grammar, but they have it internalized because they grew up in a English speaking household. They know what sounds correct. They have a kind of filter that they can use where it sounds wrong or it sounds correct. And that's all intuition. That's all internalized. And that's, I think, a better measure of grammar than just taking a grammar test, which I know in
mm.
India it's a very test-based society, right?
Uh-huh.
You have to pass the next level, but it's a lot of just test taking, not a lot of speaking.
Yeah, correct, correct. So by the level, you just make me remind one question is that, like, suppose there is some students come in your class and he's totally like he doesn't know anything of the like zero, okay, in the English. So what are the steps he need to follow for being a good speaker? Like as a teacher, what will you suggest them as a beginner?
Okay, a good speaker is a good listener. So I think you're
Perfect.
you're surrounding yourself with a lot of, what we call input, right? Input would be
Mm.
anything that's understandable, comprehensible input. That's the most important thing. Is so if you're a beginner, then start with a children's book and just read, read
Okay.
read that. If you're a beginner, go to a YouTube channel, and
Okay.
uh, find lessons that are beginner level lessons and watch those videos. It has to be in your zone of development, right? You need to find something
Okay.
that is not too difficult. If you um so if you want to focus just on speaking, then I think one of the things people overlook often is reading. One of the ways to increase your vocabulary is to read books, to read,
Reading. Yeah.
yeah, the more you read, the better your vocabulary will become. The more vocabulary you have, the better you can express yourself. So I
Perfect.
think people always equate speaking with, only speaking. I talked to another YouTuber a week ago or a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me that she talks to herself just in the mirror, just,
It's a great idea actually.
yeah.
India is a very common. We always suggest to the because we are not a native speakers first of all, and we don't have a surrounding to speak. Like it's a very hard to find a partner with whom we can practice. So there is the
Exactly.
alternative way you can speak to yourself with the mirror. You can open the camera, you can record yourself, and then you can
Yes.
watch again and again and find the mistakes that where you are doing the mistakes. So these are very common method we used to suggest as a. I can say that like I have also followed these all the methods. Okay, in the initial day, now I'm interacting with the people, so I find someone with whom I can practice. But before in my initial journey of English, there was a nobody. So of course, I just came up with the mirror or phone camera, and I used to do that. So it's a very common thing,
I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's fantastic. It's exactly what you should be
and it's a
doing
very
because
helpful
yeah.
actually. It's a very helpful because there is a nobody in front of you that who can judge you. That yeah, you are
Right.
doing mistakes, but you are getting the confidence actually that yeah, you are speaking, and when you listen yourself that you are speaking good, means you get so much confidence no matter
Yeah.
what you are doing. But yeah, confidence is important, which I consider.
Yeah. And you're the judge of yourself, right? And we're always
Right,
our
right.
harshest critics too. So in that case, I think it really makes sense because you can listen to it and you can say, okay, this I was not clear in this part, so I need to focus on enunciating and pronouncing my words more clearly in this section, or this word or this sentence was odd or didn't sound right. You can correct yourself. Self correction is a
Perfect.
really big part of learning a language because you have to monitor your own progress, because like you said, there's not always going to be a teacher there. Some of your YouTube viewers are working full time, right? They have jobs, they have families, they don't have time to go to
Perfect.
class, they don't
Exactly.
have a teacher.
Exactly.
So you have to become your own teacher, you know, and you have to find material on YouTube and online and podcasts, and you have to teach yourself using all of the resources that you have available. And it's not going to be a teacher all the time. And so that's a great trick. Record yourself on your phone. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that is the idea which I came with. I came up with the YouTube. Okay, like I thought, why should not I record myself and I should upload the video so I can watch if the some people will watch that video. So they will write the comment that bro, you are doing mistakes here. So I want someone who can correct my mistake. So that was a
Hmm.
better idea which I came up with, that I can upload the video. Someone who watched my video, if they found any mistakes, so they can write it that yeah, you have doing this mistake.
Yes.
So I can work on it. So it's a good idea that you can, without having the teacher, you can make others that yeah find my mistakes.
Right, that's right. You can say, "This is me speaking." Put it up on your channel, and other people can critique you. And if you're brave enough to do that, good for you. I mean, that's awesome. I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, that is
I
what. Yeah,
yeah.
that is what I have done. Because in my entire life of English journey, I haven't taken any classes. I haven't, approached any teacher. I haven't joined any English classes. Nothing. Through social media, through internet only, I have learned through the people I have learned with whom I have interacted. So yeah, these all are my teachers, and I consider myself as the best, teacher for myself, because you know what you want actually, and at least you have to make a track that yeah, you have improved, 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 improved like that.
Yeah.
So just tracking is also important.
Yes, yes. Tracking your progress and being your own
Mm,
monitor, your own filter, um, coming up with your own strategies that work best for you. Not everyone's the same. Some people can study a book by themselves and it helps. Other people need to watch videos on YouTube. Some people watch TV shows on Netflix. Other people join
yeah, yeah,
WhatsApp groups, So, I mean, it's just there's a million ways to learn a language, and not any
exactly,
of them are. There's no one right way. There's lots of ways to do it, and
exactly.
you're the fact that you're self-taught is really phenomenal. Like I really respect that so much, because your English is so good. It's so easy to talk to you and understand you.
I hope you are understanding because I don't know what is my English. I just feel confident in myself that I can communicate to anybody. That much is enough for me.
That's great. Have confidence. Good for you. Exactly. That's what I try to tell my students. I'm like, just be confident and go for it. And if it doesn't work out, who cares? Okay, fine. You made a mistake.
Yeah,
Big deal. No one
uh,
cares.
yeah, mistake is a part of life. Obviously, if you are doing the mistake, definitely someone is going to correct you. and it's the proof that you are learning something new when you are doing the mistakes. So it's a normal thing.
Exactly. You learn from those mistakes. I mean, what's the cliche? You have to break some eggs to make an omelet, right? So
Yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
make some mistakes to, yeah, to learn a language. No, I mean, I think we had a great conversation. It was really fascinating, and thank you for letting me come on your channel, and thanks for letting me promote my podcast. Do you mind if I just one more time? Can I promote it? It's
Definitely. Yeah.
The A to Z English podcast. That's if you just Google the A to Z English podcast, you'll find our podcast, and we've got a lot of listeners in China, but we don't have many listeners in India. So I would love to have some more listeners in India and South Asia. That would be great. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I will search and you can send me the website link. I'm definitely going to put out in the description. I don't have big fan base, but definitely the person who would like to join as because I'm the very big fan of podcasters. Seriously,
Yeah,
I love to listen to the podcast because podcast is the only thing which has helped me to improve my listening skills. And I feel it's a very good way to improve your listening skills and gathering the so much information on any particular topics. Even you
I
are
totally
improving your
agree.
listening skills, and also you are improving your knowledge and gathering the knowledge the people who are talking about actually on that platform. So I really feel it's a very helpful. So I will definitely going to put your website link in my description. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
if you consider me as be a part of your podcast, so you can consider me. I'll be definitely happy to come and discuss on something. Okay, I
I
would
would
love to.
love to have you on the podcast. We will. We'll do that. Okay? Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. One day, just inform me like when will you get your free time, and definitely I would love, and we will discuss on some different things. Okay, and it was really great conversation, man. Seriously,
Same
and
here.
thank you so much,
All right. Thank you, my
and
friend.
lots of love from India.
Same. Lots of love from Korea. Yes. Great to meet you, man. All right.
Okay, man. See you, and I will be waiting for your invitation for the podcast.
All
Okay,
right.
see
I'll
you.
be in
Bye
touch with
bye.
you soon.